Hi, everyone. I just wanted to talk with you a little bit about the AP exam before we start the second half of our final exam review. This is a really long PowerPoint or like PDF document from the College Board, so I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but I do want to go over the most important points. The big thing is you can bookmark this link, cb.org/AP 2020. It will have this testing guide. It will have an AP exam day checklist. It will have some required documents that it wants you guys to print or download for your exams. It has a testing demo that became available yesterday that you can practice um, the software you'll use on the day of the AP exam. Some information about AP World Language and Culture exams in case you're taking those classes, and some detailed frequently asked questions. So let's go ahead and I just want to get to the important parts. I don't want to cover the whole thing. I don't want to spend the whole hour on this. So every AP exam is going to need an e-ticket in order to test. So you'll receive your e-ticket by email 2 days before each test. So if you're taking multiple AP exams, you'll receive your e-ticket 2 days before that exam. Okay. You will need your e-ticket to check into your exam. You'll get a unique ticket for each exam, and you can also access your e-ticket in your student account on My AP. And here's the link in case you delete it or lose it or whatever happens. And each e-ticket is personalized for you and isn't transferable. So you can't be like, oh, I'm not going to take it here. Friend, you can use it. It doesn't work that way. Do not share your e-ticket with anyone. You could lose your chance to test, and they might even ding you for trying to cheat on the exam. Um, you want to save your May e-ticket email in case you need to request a makeup exam. So flag that email, save it, print it a PDF, something important to that exam. And you can see that the ticket activates 30 minutes before your exam. Your e-ticket will be valid for the May exam. If you cannot test on your May date, so for our class, that is, I want to make sure I give you the right day. Monday, May 18th. If you cannot test Monday, May 18th, you've got something going on. I don't know what even happens. Like you lose power at your house and there's no internet. Um, don't use your e-ticket. You will automatically receive an e-ticket for your makeup test in June if you don't use the May ticket. If you use the May ticket, they're not going to give you um, a, another ticket. So let's say, for example, you activate your e-ticket, you're getting ready to start your test, or you start your test 5 minutes into your test, the power goes out. Then you'll want to request a retake rather than just hoping you'll get a new ticket for the makeup test in June. Okay. So that's like two different kind of things. If you know ahead of time, like 2 hours before the test starts, your power goes out and it's not back in time for the test, then you would want to not use that e-ticket and take the test in May, unless you can find somewhere else to take the exam because you have enough time to do that kind of thing. Um, all exams have a makeup date. So our makeup date is Wednesday, June 3rd. Let me see if I can. Da-da-da. It's Wednesday, June 3rd. Um, and you'll also notice that there is a specific time. All the exams are being given at the exact same time throughout the world. So, for example, our exam starts at 4 p.m. on May 18th. Okay. If you're in Hawaii, let's say you're in Hawaii for some reason, you take the exam at 10 a.m. If you're in Alaska, you take it at noon, that kind of thing. So everybody's going to take it at the same time, but it's not, since there's time zones, it'll be a different time for everyone. So you just want to kind of keep that in mind. Um, Onward. Okay, so this is what they're talking about with the time. Um, you want to make sure you're at the right time for you, wherever you are. Okay. Onward. Okay. So, what to expect on this year's exam? They say that it will not be more difficult to earn a 3, 4, or 5 this year. Even if the question seems more difficult than you expected, don't worry. Difficult questions will require fewer points to earn a 3 or a 4 or 5 than the easier question will require. So, don't feel like, oh my gosh, I don't even know if they're going to give multiple questions. So let's say you had one and it seemed really easy, and your friend had a different one and theirs seemed really hard. You'll need more points on that easy one than on the hard one, to get a certain score. So this year's scores are going to be very similar to previous year's scores. Stay calm, read each part of the question, and just show what you know within the time you have. And they have said that some questions you may not be able to finish. And I wasn't going to tell you that because I didn't want to freak you out, but then I thought it might freak you out even more if you got to the exam and realized that you wouldn't be able to, that was so hard and you weren't going to finish, and then you thought you were going to fail. That's not true. Um, they don't grade the exams on a curve. You're not competing against other students. There's no maximum or minimum number of students who can receive a specific score. Every student who earns the required number of points will get that score. And don't worry if you can't complete all parts of the question before you need to give you as many chances as possible to demonstrate what you know. There may be more parts that can be answered in the allowed time. So there may be, A, B, C, D, E, and F, and you can only answer A, B, C, and F. That's the part you can answer. So they're trying to give you as best a chance as possible to do well on the exam. Um, Next. Um, the exam is very short this year because they know that it's hard to create a good testing environment at home, and it's hard to get a quiet environment for a long period of time at home. You may have siblings around, your whatever's going on. It may not be an optimal testing environment, so they want to make it short. So it's not like you've got, what's the exam usually, like 3 hours? You don't have to have a 3 hour quiet window. Okay. Um, So we will have the chance as teachers to review your score and your exam responses. If you don't get a score of 3 or higher, and I think that you should have, I can actually talk to the AP folks and review or confirm your score, ensuring it is appropriate. Um, so the exam questions are viewed by students in a browser like Chrome. And you can type or write your responses outside that browser and then choose from 3 options to submit your responses. You can just copy and paste a typed response like in Word. If you do that, save frequently. The last thing you want is to like lose your everything you've been working on that whole time and then not have anything to submit. You can attach a typed response. So you can just save that Word document and upload it, or you can attach a photo of something you've handwritten. But if you handwrite it, you can only attach one photo. So it's really important that if you write it on multiple pages, for example, you know how to combine those into one file, because you can only submit one file per question. That's really important. So here's the information for copying and pasting a typed response, and just click submit. Type it Google Docs, Word, notes on your phone, anything. Don't include any images, and save your work a lot. Like I said, type your AP ID and your initials at the top of the response. There is a AP exam day worksheet that they want you to have with you while you're taking the exam. And it will have your AP ID on there and all of that information. So it's not like you got to look it up in the middle of the test. You're supposed to have that ready. And then when it says 5 minutes remaining, it's going to start flashing, and you need to copy and paste your response into the space indicated and click submit. Um, so for example, you might have like side by side windows. So you could put, display two windows on your computer. One of those, kind of like they have here. Like for example, let's see. This could be, your browser that has the question in it, and this could be Word. And so you can see your question while you're typing in words. So you don't have to go back and forth, back and forth. And you can also see your timer. Um, so that's kind of what they're trying to tell you there. You can attach a document and click submit. Same exact thing. You'll have two windows. You'll have your question, let's say, over here, and where you're typing over here. But instead of copying and pasting it into the window, you could just save that document and then upload it into the software. The important thing is they don't accept pages or anything like that. They only accept like doc, PDF, .txt, and .odt. So that's really important. Um, you guys are pretty good at knowing how to submit files, luckily, because you've been taking this course online. If your exam has two questions, you would have to create, save, and attach two separate documents, one for each question. And then attach of handwritten responses and click submit. Um, Again, you they say that you can only attach one photo. This is saying that it gets 5 photos. I've read somewhere else that you can only get one. So if you're planning on doing a photo of a handwritten response, definitely test that out in the practice that they've released, the practice browser, so you can practice that. Because I did read somewhere that said 1 photo, but now they're saying 5. So maybe they've changed it. I don't know, but you just want to really make sure. This is music theory. I'm going to skip this. World language. I'm going to skip it. If you have any accommodations, you don't need to submit any further requests. They will automatically give you the extended time on the online exam. I don't think we have anyone in this class with that. A makeup exam. Any sort of issue on exam day that prevents you from testing successfully, like I said, your power goes out in the middle of the exam or something like that. You can request a makeup at cb.org/request makeup. Um, and you must have your original e-ticket when you fill out that form. Okay, and then you have to submit it within 48 hours of your original exam day. So you can't decide like a week later, oh man, I did have a problem, and then try and submit it. If you had a problem, submit that ASAP. It's really important. Okay. Um, this is what they're saying is typical issues: sickness, significant interruptions from your family members, battery failures, power outages, technical disruptions. Running out of time is not a good excuse. Okay. The exam is going to guide you step by step on test day from the moment you click your e-ticket. It's going to tell you exactly what you need to do. But there are unexpected things that could happen at home. And so it would be definitely benefit you to have additional preparation and technology checks. If you can't get Word to open or something crazy is going on with Word, it decides it wants to update or something like that, maybe have some paper with you so you can write if you need to. Definitely have those worksheets. I've linked those worksheets in the course on the one on the news announcement that has Phoebe and Joey, and it says, "This is totally new information." That's the one that has all of this information. Okay. 5 things to do before exam day. If you're not getting the emails from the AP program, log into my AP and make sure they have your correct email address. Check your technology. Make sure the device you want to use works. Make sure you know where your charger is. Plug your stuff in. Okay, you want to have, I would make sure, like, if I was going to take it on my computer, I'd make sure my computer had full power, but then I would also plug it in. That way, if, the power goes out or something, well, if the power goes out, I guess you can't use the internet, but you know what I mean. If you can connect like a hotspot to your phone or something, I would make sure, all your technology is charged. You've got that ready to go. Definitely practice the AP exam demo that was released yesterday. Gather what you need for every single one of your AP exams. I know a lot of you are taking many AP exams, so print out those exam day worksheets for every single exam. Store them somewhere safe. Um, I bet you haven't you've been using your planner very much recently. If you have a planner or something in your phone, you could, make a note that you've got those, store them somewhere safe, make a note, to remind you that the exam is coming up, that kind of thing. And then definitely receive your exam confirmation and your e-ticket. Okay. If you don't get your e-ticket 2 days before the exam, definitely look in your My AP account for that information. Okay. If you want to review your contact information, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to say it, I'm just going to sit here for a second. That way you can kind of like take a screenshot or whatever if you need to, if you're watching the recording. Okay. Check your tech, choose your device. This is really important. You don't need the lockdown browser on AP Classroom. Um, if you have the Grammarly plugin on your computer, I didn't even know that was a thing, but you'll need to remove it to test. And world language exams have specific requirements, which doesn't apply to us. When choosing between handwriting and typing, keep in mind you don't have to submit any graphs or diagrams. And for example, science, we're not going to have any math, but some courses do have math, so that make it easier. It might be easier for you to just do that math by hand. Um, They do have information on how to type that. They said if you use a phone, you may have to scroll back and forth within a question, which you may find annoying. So they definitely recommend using a desktop or a laptop if you have one available. You can take it on your phone, but it's obviously not ideal to take an AP exam on your phone. Um, Prepare your documents for typing. So definitely turn on autosave if you have that. Remember, you need to learn how to download Google Doc. If you want to use Google Docs, you need to know how to download a Google Doc and save it in an approved format. Okay. Because you can't just turn in the link to the Google Doc, just like we do in this class. Make sure when you start that exam, you've already gotten your documents made up and you've already typed your AP ID and initials at the top. You've saved it to a clearly labeled folder on your desktop so you know exactly where it is. For example, um, do you see this one here, how they have labeled the questions? Go ahead and already, label your document. So this one says like label it AP Environmental Science question 1, AP Environmental Science question 2. The last thing you want to do is do like a great job on your questions and then upload the answers to question 2 to question 1, or the answers to question 1 to, you know what I mean. So they're labeled incorrectly. You want to make sure you're putting the right thing. So let's say you typed everything in question 1, and then when you go to upload, upload question 2 and it's blank, because you haven't gotten to question 2 yet, then you've gotten a 0 on that question even though you did all that work. So make sure you label your document something that you know is the right one. um, Again, prepare your documents for your handwriting. Use white paper. It'll be easier for them to grade. Lined or unlined, I would probably recommend lined. I think it's personally easier to read your assignments when you guys write them, and make sure you're writing clearly. Okay. Um, and if your handwriting is difficult to read, type it. You get that option this year, so definitely try it. Use a number 2 pencil with a pen or black or blue ink. You guys are pretty good at that. Um, Make sure that again, you upload all of your pictures. It looks like they're letting you put more than one, so they must have changed this. Um, and then prepare your pages by writing your AP ID and your initials at the top of each page. So, for example, page 1, AP ID, name. Page 2, AP ID, name. Page 3, AP ID, name. Say you only use 2 pictures and you prepared 5 pages, whatever. You know, that's at least you've got all your pages labeled and ready to go. So when the graders grade it, they know what's your first, second, and third page. Okay. You can practice submitting responses with the AP exam demo. You can go to this link, cb.org AP demo, and practice this. We are not world language, so I'm not going to go there. Okay. So for us, you're going to need on test day, you're going to need that exam e-ticket email, the completed exam day checklist, including your ID. That's the little worksheet I was telling you about. Some sort of device that can access the internet. You will need a browser. They really like Chrome, but you can use one of the others. But they know that Chrome is the best. Some sort of internet or cellular connection. Again, there's no way to upload your stuff if you don't have internet or cellular connection. Um, if you need something like an assistive technology or device, I don't think we have anybody in this class that needs that. But if you do, um, for typed responses, you want some sort of word processing um, document, even if that is just the Notes app on your phone. Okay. And you are allowed any class notes, any study guides, textbooks, other classroom resources, previous assignments or assessments. You may want to do for every single module in the course. You may want to go ahead and make like a cheat sheet for every single module and put the most important information on one page for that module. And then the next module, the most important information for that module on that page. I would draw the nitrogen cycle, I would draw the water cycle, the phosphorus cycle, the basics for those. You don't even have to draw them, right? Because you could get graphics and then print them out. Um, I would know the demographic transition, that kind of stuff. Um, and I would just have one for every single topic in our course or every single module in our course, and then you get the question and they say, oh, the human population, blah, and you automatically know, you pull out that population cheat sheet, and you've got that most important information from the population module right there. Okay. And you can kind of like put the other stuff away. But then you at least you've got something. Okay. Um, you can use your textbooks, any other classroom resources. Remember, our class will be closed. Okay, you won't have access to our class anymore when you take your exam. So those links to those s'mores I have for you, the AP review s'mores, the stream channel that I have all those videos in, all of that stuff, you want to mark or save those links because you won't have access to it the day of the exam. Okay. Um, this is classes that aren't ours. Aren't ours. Okay. Um, Optional resources. Okay, class notes, study guides, like I said, textbooks, any other classroom resources. Again, save those links to those s'mores and things like that that I have for you so you can use those to study even after our class closes. Any assignments or tests, um, you don't need a calculator. You do not need a calculator. Um, if you have any shared notes, let's say you and your friends have a wiki that you collaborate together to study, you need to download those notes to your device to prevent collaboration violations. They said if you do any sort of internet search while you're taking your exam, first of all, it's going to waste your time. And then it's going to put you at risk of an exam violation. The more time you spend searching the web, the less time you have to write. Remember, it's 20 minutes. That's how much you get to answer an FRQ. That's how much you get even when you don't get to search the internet. So if you spend time searching the internet, you're going to waste your time on the exam and you won't have time to finish even what they expect you to finish. Any sort of facts or research or opinions you get on the internet is not going to help you on the AP exam. There's nothing you can search on the internet that's going to help you. Okay, this is like a critical thinking kind of thing. Um, if you copy information from websites, social media, or any sort of online forum, it is plagiarism. They will be able to detect it, and your score will be completely canceled. And they report that to the colleges. Okay, the last thing you want is instead of a score getting reported to the college, you get a plagiarism violation reported to your college. Okay, that's huge. You don't want that. Okay. Um, May 4th, that's yesterday, you should have gotten the confirmation email with your AP ID and the list of exams you're registered for. 2 days before the exam, you'll get the video, you'll get the ticket. This is your exam day checklist. I have this linked in the course, but they also have the link right here. On the day of your exam, you will have 30 minutes before your exam. You can go ahead and check in. You can complete your identity information and just wait for the exam to begin automatically. Um, when it starts, question one will appear. You will work on your response. And then when you have 5 minutes left, it will start blinking and it's supposed to be completely obvious. It'll be time to submit your response. The next question, you'll have 15 minutes and you're going to write your response and they'll start blinking like when you have 5 minutes left and it's going to let you upload it. We don't need these. The best thing to do is be in a quiet environment. And it doesn't matter where that quiet environment is. I read about someone who they have a bathroom that like is way at the back of their house and they're going to set up a little table and a chair in that bathroom and they're going to just do their AP exam in that bathroom because that's the quietest place in their house. Okay, so find the quietest place in your house and do your exam there. Um, Definitely put do not disturb or quiet setting on your phone. You don't want people calling you or bothering you when you're trying to do your exam. Let your family and your friends know that you're going to be testing so they don't try and bother you. And then obviously make sure your device is plugged in. And if you don't have a lot of bandwidth at your house, tell the rest of your family to stop streaming. Like don't let them play video games on like online video games or ask them not to please watch Netflix or Disney Plus while you're trying to do your exam so you can have the focus of that bandwidth. and then make sure to have your checklist and your required documents with you. Um, they are being really, really careful about exam security. I know I talked about plagiarism. I talked about cheating. Um, it's really important. They're taking it super seriously. They've already broken up a couple cheating rings and reported it to those colleges. So you can read the rest here, but again, I want to make sure we have time for our review. 30 minutes before, check into your exam. And when the exam starts, the first question will automatically appear. You do not need to refresh your browser. In fact, they suggest that you don't. And there's a little countdown timer here that shows you the time until your exam starts. Um, when you want to answer your question, you want to divide it into parts. So you can see here, you guys are usually pretty good at this. They've labeled it part A, part B, and part C. That way the graders know exactly how to grade it, where to grade it. You see this kid's ideas here. They have their initials, they have their name right here, and their handwriting is really easy to read. Okay. Um, Remember, the people that are grading your test are grading a lot of tests. And so they are not going to spend time like I do puzzling through your handwriting and like trying to, you know, glean as many points as possible from your handwriting. If they can't read it, they just won't grade it. That's, they've got too many exams to grade each day to spend 30 minutes puzzling through your exam. Okay, you can see right here that the timer is flashing red, and that means you need to start uploading your response. You don't want to keep writing when it's flashing red. You want to go ahead and start that upload process. Okay, when you submit, you can browse for a file, submit a file. You can upload photos, and you see them here, and they're clicking submit, or you can just paste your work in here and click submit. All of those are appropriate ways to submit your answers. And then if something goes wrong while you're testing, say something crashes, you can click your e-ticket again and it will immediately take you to that exam. Continue the exam, try the best you can to finish it. And then if it you really feel that it negatively impacted your performance, you can request a makeup, but do not refresh your browser or hit the back arrow. They said that is the worst thing you can do. And don't call customer service. It's not going to work. Just submit it this link. That's what they're going to look for. If you had a problem, is look for this link. They're not going to be looking for phone calls. Okay. um, Your scores will be still scored by AP readers on the 1 to 5 scale, and you should be getting your scores around July 15th. So it's about a week later than you usually get them. You can sign into My AP no later than June 20th to indicate which colleges or universities you want to get your scores. Remember, you have to decide that before you actually get your score. Okay. After June 20th, there's a $15 fee for each score report sent and a $25 per report for rush processing. So definitely, decide that early rather than later. Lots of universities have said they're still going to take your scores, so you shouldn't have to worry about that so much. And again, they really want to make sure that you guys are getting credit. Remember, Friday is the very last day of class, which means you will lose access to the course once the clock ticks over to Saturday. So if there's anything from our course you want to save, links to prepare you for the AP exam, anything like that, make sure that you save those before the class closes on Friday. Thank you.